It's Sunday here in London, February 2013, and I'm getting the last bit of video in before the house becomes absolutely packed full of people come crashing through the door from being away for the half-term holidays. And I've been working away. As you can see, there's my hot desking in my own kitchen, which has actually been really, really nice and productive. And it kind of brings me to a point of which I think is something that I've even, I've discussed in earlier things, but as part of my video series, I like to share this one with you, is effectively the difference between rich and wealth. I think many of us would kind of define being rich as having a lot of cash or having a lot of capital, maybe assets. You could also be rich in experience. And this is where it kind of delves into the whole notion of what is wealth. This is a quick video, so forgive me if I'm just kind of scratching the surface here. But as far as I can tell, and as far as I've been told from the people who have immense richness and who have vast wealth, and from what I've read and what I've seen and even experienced for myself on occasion throughout my life, but here on my road to a resurgence towards more prosperity, the notion of these two things I find actually really, really valuable. The differences, I think, are quite key. I think for things like having a lot of money to do the things that you really want to do is to become rich and to you still have richness of experience. However, what one does and what one is does with that richness, and one is able to do to actually attract and manifest and generate that richness in one's life, that's the wealth side of it. I mean, it seems to me that the knowledge, the mindset, the experience, the insight, the outlook, the kind of the overall, I don't want to say package, but the overall nutshell, the overall kind of being of who we are, our inner being and our outer being, our conscious, subconscious. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to look at this, and some people might think this is all just hogwash, and others might kind of get it. But it's interestingly that even though some people have not been able to articulate it in ways along those lines, if you actually look into what the well-off, as you would maybe put it, the people who have become prosperous or those who have become very, very successful, is this differentiation about being rich and wealthy, and they will articulate it in many, many ways. But if you kind of unpack it a little bit and not pack it too much, because I try to remove my own bias, but unpack it a little bit as to kind of what's actually being said. There's so much overlap and so much common ground of what they say and what they share in perspective. And is that without a kind of a wealthy mindset or a wealthy kind of intention or a wealthy kind of, to use the word experience or toolkit of various strategies or, various ways of doing methodology, if you want to kind of be a little bit more kind of strict on the framework, it's not possible. I mean, luck can happen, and luck is an interesting one. I mean, luck is very much kind of being able and being ready and being prepared for when opportunity does arise. You have the wherewithal to actually seize it. And so in a way, luck is kind of by chance, but at the same time, there's been a lot of groundwork that may not necessarily be realized at the time that actually has enabled the person to be available to actually receive that luck and to be able to grab hold of it. So there's many different ways to look at these things. But I think the key kernel is that when we kind of, I don't want to say harness, but when we tap into that kind of wealth that we are all, that's so available to us and it's so abundant. However, because of this, this tool or this mind, this set, and the viewpoint where we sit with it will really effectively and in practical terms determine how much we're able to actually kind of get in flow with that and get in alignment and actually kind of resonate with all this idea of being rich and being wealthy. So, you know, one can obviously, because one is rich, one is able to do and access many, many, many things and do good things and whatever, hopefully good things, and you know, and empower one's life in many, many ways. It's actually that empowerment, that the experiences of getting there and of being there and of continuing on further down that kind of evolution, if you will, of growth, personal development and growth, that's where the wealth comes in. So yeah, it is chicken and egg. I mean, it is that kind of question that comes to mind, at least it does for me anyway. But it's definitely kind of key questions that I think are key because it helps for clarity's sake. And clarity is to have clarity of focus will then determine one's actions, because if there's lack of clarity, then the actions are all over the place and there's no focus, there's no direction, and the goal and the intentions of what someone is out to do, that kind of sense of purpose becomes actually indefinite as opposed to definite, and then that just creates kind of confusion and gets everybody, gets people very, very muddy. I've been there, I know exactly what I'm talking about, and you know, really, through meditation, through exercise. I mean, I start my day very differently than I used to a long time ago. You know, I get out there, I do my stretches, do my yoga, do some Tai Chi, do, you know, a little bit of sit meditation, go calm, go quiet, and then I kind of set my intention for the day, look at my purpose and what I'm thinking about doing, come down, have a really nice meal, you know, usually just some live fresh juice, get everything really going properly, and you know, and then ready to seize the day. Now, I have to say that I'm not particularly strict to it. I should be more strict, only because, you know, I don't want to knock out the good because I brought in all these other toxic elements. I'm a bit of a chocoholic since I've given up coffee, but they're both caffeine. So it's interesting, all these things. However, in that activity in the start of my day really sets the pace, sets the tone, and sets the kind of the outcome and the kind of activity of my day. And to me, that's really, really important and really valuable. And I notice that it seems to rub off on my family, and my kids kind of see it as a power of example, or I see it as power because of the example, and they see it as an example which I, for them, think is powerful because that's empowering, because I'm setting good example. I mean, I have to say I haven't always been like that. It's also part of my journey. So, all of us on this great day and the week ahead, you know, go out and prosper, get those things that make you tap into your wealth, your inner resource, and you too will have the richness that is available to you in life. So on that note, have a great day, have a great week, and we'll see you in the next one.